What's up, guys? Welcome to the Judgment Zone. I'm your girl T, and today I have got my girl Elle. Yeah, please pronounce it right, okay? Because she went on a thing. She had to tell people how to pronounce her name. Elle, not Elle. Elle. And we are not here to be polite. Not today. We are here to be right because we always are. Today's topic: men killing women. A new breed of politicians. AI poisoning Black communities, while Elon Musk plays dumb, like he didn't have anything to do about it. And Emma, the conversation around Miss Emma Grade, I think that's her name, and her 3-hour mom weekends. Yes, we're going to get into all that. Oh, yes, and how the internet has lost its mind and its receipts when it comes to some of these conversations. We will bring them for you. So without further ado, my girl Elle, hi, how are you?
Hello. Not you telling him I had to yell at him.
I was like, is she checking them on how to read? Okay, yes, we're in the right place. We're in the right
The
place.
amount of people who were like, Ellie, oh, hi, Ellie. And the first couple times it happened, I just thought that they were like being overly familiar, which as nice as I am, I'm just not that warm. Like if I introduce myself as a name, call me that.
Please.
Nicknames are earned. And then finally, I realized somebody was like, no, your name's not Ellie. They also think it's BriefedByElle. Like they missed the F in BriefedByElle. So I've had people be like, oh my God, BriefedByElle, it's you. And I'm like, oh my God, you're not even really a fan.
I just need people to get back to doing things like reading, comprehending, and what do they say? We listen and we do not judge. No. We judge here. We judge.
I definitely judge.
So
I judge so much that I tell you when I'm not judging. Otherwise, assume that there is a judge.
Assume that we are judging, and we want you to know it. So listen, let's get into this conversation. The rise in men killing women. And let me go ahead and kind of bring it to the forefront really quick, because this is not a dating show topic. This is a survival topic. Mm-hmm. This is a data topic, because there is data that's very damning at this point. According to the 2025 report from the UN Office of Drugs and Crime, 83,000 women and girls were killed intentionally last year. Not by accident, okay? 60% of those, roughly 50,000 women, were killed by intimate partners or family members. That works out to be one woman killed by someone she knows nearly every 10 minutes. Do you hear me? Every 10 minutes. So for context, let me just say this. 11% of male homicides were committed by intimate partners also. So let's go ahead and put that out there. At least 40% of women killed by current or former partners had already left or were in the process of leaving. I want to know, what do we call this right now? In this moment, how do you feel about what's going on and these numbers? Is this a crisis that they're dealing with? Is it a choice? Let's get into it.
It's a choice. I would even go as far as to say it's an epidemic, in my opinion. I think verbiage matters. I've talked about this before, like because of the parameters of the internet, we say things like unalived or somebody was pume, and it takes away the gravity of the situation. And I think the same thing applies here. We're talking about the rise of femicide, but these numbers have been damning, right? Like I remember one time when I was younger, and somebody kind of made like a flippant joke, like, oh, it's getting ready to be cold outside. Y'all know y'all got to check on your friends, because now, again, it's cold outside. People are going to be in the house with these abusers or these men who don't respect them. And so we've always grown up, I think, hearing these snide comments, but we come from, culturally speaking, a community where it's taught to us that what happens here stays here. And we don't emphasize enough, if what's happening behind that closed door is dangerous to you, then you need to tell somebody. I don't know what in the house business is anymore. You gotta get the help that you need. And some people are just so scared or so put into a place where things are so expensive now. I believe that everything is secular. Things are so expensive that people are placed into corners where they feel like they can't leave, where they feel like they can't do anything because a job at the grocery store is not going to cut it.
There's a link between, and you and I spend a lot of time on social media, so I just want to say this. There's a link between digital stalking and harassment and the actual violence that occurs. And in a lot of these situations, there has been some marker to infer that something treacherous could happen. Why do you think this is something that is not being followed up on, that's not being dealt with? Are we not reporting it, or are the police not taking it seriously enough?
I don't think the laws are there. Even I know people who have had restraining orders that still fear for their lives, that still have had to move multiple places because what do these people care about pieces of paper? And the holes that you have to jump through as the victim, the laws aren't on the victim side. And so like when I'm always a proponent of voting locally, because this is where your change starts. When you only participate in your national elections and you keep saying, well, I don't see any change, you never will. You know why? Because in your city, most times in your township, depending on how the charter is written, your legislation is written by your council members. They write the legislation, they bring it forward. You want to see a change in how your police department handles domestic violence situations, your council person would be the very first person to do that and directly affect you, right? So we have to learn the importance of what our vote actually does, what we're voting for, how legislation is written, and how change is actually made. And then we have to, it sucks, but we have to be the person to fill that gap, because if there's a change that we need to see, these men have shown us they're not protecting us.
If you go to the UN Women, there's a lot of statistics about women and girls. So a lot of things that you want to find out, verify, it's there. They do the research, even though we're currently in a state where our leaders are trying to deny facts. There are other organizations that keep facts. And every day, 137 women and girls are killed by intimate partners or family members. And I wanted to bring this up because I was telling Elle before we got started, my mother was shot and her boyfriend was murdered in front of me at the age of 5, me and his son. So you got to think about this. This happened about 30 years ago, maybe over 30 years ago. So this is not improving. We're not putting our resources, our time, our legislation behind things that can make us safer, that make us better as a society. We are still in a situation where this is happening and the numbers are climbing when it comes to violence against women and girls. And that I do not understand. And for those that that don't judge the people that are participating in this, I'm judging them.
I'm judging you.
I am looking at each and every person that will find an excuse for this kind of stuff continuing to happen and giving it a pass. Bending
he
over
was overwhelmed at work. He was this, he was that. Who ain't? Who ain't? You show me a person that's not overwhelmed, I'm gonna show you a liar.
Hello?
We all overwhelmed by something. Even if you got diamond shoes on, sometimes they be tight.
They do. And it's just, I don't understand how we are getting worse. Do you think it has anything to do with leadership at the top? I don't know.
I do.
Talk to me about that.
How do you get things passed, right? Like we should know how the judicial branches work, the branches of the government work. We should know that, right? So when you have things like the Republican Party holds the majority in the House, you've got a Republican president, you've got all of these things, and it's less about the party and more about this current Republican Party, right? And the ways that they're not advocating for women. I asked every single person who could, and I know we're getting ready to get to data centers, and this is part of my part with the AI but I asked people, I know y'all aren't going to sit there and read Project 2025, but let cousin shorten it for you. You need the bullet points. There was never a plan to protect women when they're telling you we need to think about what the forefathers wanted. We need to make America great again. These time periods were not periods where women thrived. Make America great again refers to a time where women couldn't get credit cards without men. Like, and again, these things happen not necessarily in my lifetime, but like in my mom's lifetime. You know what I mean? My grandparents definitely grew up in a time where my grandmother could not get a credit card without my grandfather. So we're not even talking about way, way far back. We're talking about like yesteryears. But that's what life looked like there. That's when the rise, what were they taking then? The equivalent to like speed, the women taking the speed and then going to the aerobics classes. That was a trope because that's what was happening, right? The 1970s or 1950s style movies where the girl is vacuuming the floor and then comes home and gets knocked around by the husband whilst vacuuming. These are tropes. Back in the day, Game Show Network, the prizes used to be washers and dishwashers.
Yes.
They were talking to women because you were supposed to be home to be able to use these things because only the man was going out to get the bacon, which meant only the man had to say, which meant the man told you what to do, which meant you needed to be subservient. Yeah, it happened. Our leadership wants to go right back to that. And so when you've got somebody like that in office who promotes that, people who feel seen in him already exemplify that. Is he the reason behind every single one that happened this weekend? Of course not. Of course not. Like, I would never give him that much power.
No, but at the same time, even what I said about what happened to my mom, violence, even in family members, was acceptable back then. There was always an excuse, and they've continued to drag that into this moment. So looking at a Pete Hegseth, whose own mama came out and said, he's he's a terrible person. When your mama come out and say he's a terrible person, but then you as the leader bend over backwards to find an excuse for his piss poor behavior, it says a lot. I had a friend that I used to work for. He's a heavy Trump supporter, but we've continued to maintain some type of friendship over the years. And I remember one day he asked me, "Well, why do you hate Trump so much?" And I was like, I don't really hate him, but I don't think he's a great leader. He's not someone that I would want my child to look. And this was the first campaign. He's not someone I would want my child to look at as something that's aspirational. And also, you can't even listen to what this man says on TV. He said, "Well, why would you have your child listening to TV, to the news?" And I was like, I grew up watching the news.
I grew up. You have to watch the news before you leave the house. You can't go outside and not know what's happening in the world.
Hello, World News Tonight, Peter Jennings.
Hey, you better know it every day, 7:00.
Come on. So at no point did it ever pass muster for what's acceptable. And now that it has continued to be drug into current leadership and how they legislate and what they petition for, you got all these states that are petitioning to make the age of consent younger and blur the lines between legal and illegal. That gives you a very clear understanding of where this administration lies. And you wonder why men continue to feel like they can find a pass in horrible, heinous behavior towards women. Hey, I read the stat. We're not saying women don't do things also. However, okay, the numbers, they don't equate. They're not even.
I also want to point out, before they dropped that age of consent, what they dropped was the age to work. So if you check out like your Midwest states, a lot of them, specifically during Trump and Kamala Harris's last election, dropped the legal age to work. So if you can work at 14 and then you can consent by 16, you is an adult. You're grown looking girl.
It's gross. I mean, it's just nasty. It's nasty, and we need to find those that we can elect that actually champion things that improve the quality of life for people, and stop playing this game. Like, this ain't no game.
It's not. I want to say this, and then I'll get off the point. I've always known that these men were sick, right? There was no question about that. But over the weekend, I was at TJ Maxx, and the cashier there was 17. Very beautiful, brown skinned girl. The most I can say it is it gave like Ashley Banks energy, very suburban. I'm working because my mom says I need this on my resume, not I have to be here at 17, right? Just to paint the picture of the energy. Clearly educated, clearly articulate, very mature for her age. That baby was always 17 the whole time I was talking to her, even before she opened up her mouth and said she was 17. And I'm saying, right. As a person who was never looking for sexual attraction here, y'all are fucking disgusting. Y'all are disgusting because it was very clear. It was clear that she's more mature than the average 17-year-old, right? But it never gave, hey girl, hold my hand.
Woman.
That was a baby. She was a baby. When she said 17, I was like, duh. In my head, obviously not to her. She was like, because I'm 17. And I was like, girl, we didn't think you were anything older. We always knew. Which means
playing dumb. So you're playing dumb? Is that what we're doing? To find a way to justify the nasty shit going on in your head? Is that what we're doing?
Because there was nothing. I had a very lovely conversation with that 17-year-old. As a 36-year-old woman, who likes having conversation. There was nothing stimulating about that conversation. These young girls aren't pushing you. They're not offering you any conversation that these grown women aren't. What they aren't doing is holding you accountable. Yeah. What they aren't doing is saying, hey, such and such, didn't you tell me you got 2 kids? Why we ain't seen these babies in 2 weeks? Go get your kids. You know what I mean? The child support ain't enough. Go pick up that baby and hang out with him. That's what somebody your age is going to say. They're going to say, listen, the economy is hard, but it's work out here if you want it. Okay? And one job begets another. Amen? Them older women is telling you, excuse me, the words say the man that don't work don't eat. I ain't got no Gucci for you. I ain't got no chicken for you. If you ain't got no job for me and not pay my bills. That's not what I said.
But a 17-year-old.
Boom.
Just happy you're there. So we got to do better. And speaking of politicians, let's talk about the new age politicians and what a winning 2026 campaign looks like. Girl, it's all you. What are your thoughts?
Trump. I want to be the first person to tell y'all that them emails nobody cared about them emails the first time around because people were tired, right? Again, the average person isn't clear on how the political system works and what the president actually does. So there were a lot of people who felt like Obama didn't do anything for them, right? There were a lot of people who felt like, I'm tired of the politician, that whole Ronald Reagan energy, Kennedy energy. Let's wrap it up, right? Oh, where you a reality star? You have businesses? Bring it in. And I will be the first person to tell you that at the beginning of Trump's campaign, I said to my husband, this might work. This might work. I'm not telling you I believe in him, but I'm telling you the way that he talks to the people, the way that he gets them to feel like I understand exactly what you're going through, whether or not I'm lying to you, the way that he bucks the system, right? People wanted to see that. They were tired of while we don't wear the wigs, right? Like this isn't parliament, but this is also the same America that freaked out when Obama put on a tan suit. There's very little room to be a person inside of being a politician. And I think, like it or love it, Donald Trump highlighted that. So to round out this question, in 2026, people want to know who you are. Mm-hmm. This whole idea of, well, I don't want to get online and be too much of a content creator. No, girl, I didn't tell you to go emulate somebody, right? I told you to open up that camera and talk to me. And that's the difference. I think a lot of politicians are so used to the traditional of knocking on your door, having a conversation with you in your face, that this doesn't translate to political. When in real life, this lets me know that you get it, right? Because if you as a politician can take the time to sit down, turn on a light, put on a mic, it don't even have to be this serious, right? but just look good on camera. You know what that means? That means that you understand what those other content creators are doing when you're asking them for their help, right? That instantly means that you know what it takes, a level of relatability. Then you're a human, right? You understand this is not scandal. These people are not running for these positions and then they don't have any other job to do or they go home to nannies. No, the people running for Congress in your district, they're a regular person like you. But what's happened in politics and what I think people are trying to now reframe is the idea of a politician originally used to be better than. There was a pedestal there, right? It was assumed that you had your shit together. It was assumed that like you made a certain amount of money a year. All of these things were assumed when in reality it's not true. And so I think in order to win campaigns in 2026 in a professional manner, you have to let them know that I am you.
Yep.
My direct deposit come out just like yours.
100%. Now, my thoughts are that the old playbook is dead, which you've stated. But I think about a 34-year-old that just beat a former governor in New York City. Okay. A 21-year-old is running for Nebraska's state senate right now. The game has changed, and a lot of the old guard politicians have not got the memo. And I don't know why. But not only that, those that are continuing to let the old guard hold leadership have not gotten it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've gotten it, and you're still pushing for the old guard to be leadership in your party. You're tripping, to be clear.
Well, the old guard is funded very well. The old guard is funded
Do you want to
very,
win,
very
or
well.
do you want to just be in power? Do you want to win, or you just want to be there?
That has to be identified from the top. From the top. Because there is, right, the truth is, I can be the Democratic Party's candidate and be open to or subjected to have access to, not subjected to, have access to all of their PACs, all of their
Yeah.
funding, all of their paid for mailers. I will use what's his name, ran for governor against Cheryl. He was the president of the New Jersey Teachers Union Board. I can't think of his name, but that candidate, Sean Spiller, had mailers coming out from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, he was backed by his union and the Democratic Party and all of these things. And so his name was everywhere. Name recognition taken care of. But what does that come with, right? As opposed to then being like the grassroots candidate who is not getting that same financial support, but they have the community. I think Abigail, governor of Virginia, just won her seat. I think Anna Leah just won her seat. District 11 used to be Governor Cheryl's seat for Congress. I think Mondami, the things that even Mayor Brandon B. Scott, the thing that they're doing is they have mastered name recognition outside of their state. There used to be a
Mm-hmm.
point where people didn't know by name, the governor of this place, the mayor of this place. Da, da, da. You can go to California, somebody know who Mayor Brandon B. Scott is.
Right.
And he isn't in a position to help them at all, but they love him. They know what he's doing there and they love what he's bringing. They've built a brand that is able to sustain outside of that. And I tell my clients, especially the ones that are running not for reelection, but
Mm-hmm.
imagine that you're building this platform for speaking opportunities. The goal is to win, right? This is what the social media page is for. But let's imagine that we're building it for speaking opportunities after. What message can you convey that has relevancy to the city or to the area that you're running in, but also has national legs? There's a part of that story that relates to the person, to the voter in Baltimore, but there's also a part of that story that relates to the person watching in California. And you have to talk to both of them because it's the internet. The internet's going to shotgun it to everybody.
Internet.
And what
Absolutely.
you don't want them to do is say, "Oh, I don't live in Jersey." Huh.
Yep.
You got to give them something to hold on to.
Anybody out there that's looking to run for office, I love this article I pulled up from Substack, and it's called "The 10 Political Digital Trends
Ooh,
I'm
send me
Watching
this, please.
For." And Katie Harbath wrote this. I think it's great. I'm double stacking it so you can read it. But the truth of the matter is, you got to do things different. This one talks about change is the only guarantee. More platforms equals more content. Politicians need YouTube channels. It's a great article for anyone that is looking to run any campaign. And let me be honest here, any freaking campaign. I don't care if you're doing something on a local level. I don't care if you're doing something for the school board or the PTA. You have to do things different. It is not the same. If you want to win and if you have a voice and if you are really serious about change,
yes,
you have to. For those that just loved Obama, he was heavy on the digital sphere. You cannot accomplish
anything.
Great results without embracing this digital moment. Listen, you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. That's called insanity.
That's it.
And in 2025, I want you to hear me clearly. Over 1 in 4 youth voted, and 75% of those were young voters for Mandami, a 34-year-old candidate. 1 in 4 were youth. So if you don't embrace a new age of politics and this digital tool that you have, all of them, you're going to lose.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to
You're
happen.
going to lose because the young people are also getting tired of your shit. They're getting tired. So
and the young people want results.
Yeah, if you're not bringing them into the conversation with the tools that they use, this is how you meet people where they are, you're going to lose. You're going to lose.
And you have to ask people what they want. Ask people. You might have a vision for your city or whatever, right? But you can go in there saying, I want to give everybody cow print walls. But if the issue is that they don't have walls, you hanging cow print backgrounds is not going to be helpful to them, right? Or whatever it is. So you have to ask these people. And that's the one thing that I see a lot. I see a lot of politicians come out, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Who told you they wanted that? Not the data. That's important. That is important. I'm not saying that. But who told you? What constituent did you talk to? What forum did you go to? And you heard residents or people in your district say, this is my issue.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's get into this water usage and environmental racism because I'm annoyed. I am annoyed.
I feel like I don't have the right to say I'm annoyed. I am, but I feel like I don't have the right to say that out loud.
Help me out.
Okay. Let me explain this first. I believe that corporations have the power to stop and or implement any fucking thing that they want to, right? Using pollution as an example. These corporations had us drinking milkshakes through paper straws. And you know what they did? They got on their fucking private jets to go have the meeting. Right? You want to do something about climate change. You want to do something about reducing recycle. It's not going to be in our Chick-fil-A straws. So with that being said, I feel like I don't have the right because they've put us in a position where how do you not use AI?
Right.
And with the understanding that AI is way more than Claude, ChatGPT, and Google Gemini, right? You can take those off the table and never use those again, and you will still participate in using AI.
Absolutely.
You will still participate in pulling data from these data centers. And again, we cannot do anything about it. I could turn my phone off, go get a flip phone tomorrow and say, I'm not participating in nothing AI, nothing digital. Encyclopedias only. I don't even use the internet anymore. I'm only paying cash. I'm not doing tap to pay. And you know what's still going to happen? We're going to have a problem. You could do it too. We could all do it. My family and yours. The state of California could do it. And we would still have a problem. So that's why I don't feel like I can say that I'm annoyed because I'm a participant. Sometimes willingly, right? Like I use the apps. Not for the
I'm just annoyed with him. Okay. I'm just annoyed with him. Okay, here we go. So for every he gets on my nerves and he's ugly. And he thinks he's not, and I don't understand that. He's so ugly. He looks everybody in that administration is the funniest looking character, I swear.
Like that's your final form? That's crazy. And then you want to talk about God. Like, that face is the presence of him not being there.
Katie Miller had the audacity to get on the Beyonce's internet and say liberals or leftist men are ugly. And they just posted a picture of her husband. I mean, ma'am, come on.
Katie Gnome's husband likes lopsided titties, okay? But God forbid your child
hello
affirming surgery.
Well, okay. So back to being annoyed. Understanding that damn near every time we ask AI a question, somebody in the Black community is breathing fumes. That's what the data shows. This is not hyperbole. This is actually
COPD at a very high rate. There are people dying from COPD who have never touched cigarettes before in their lives, simply by just breathing in their neighborhoods.
This is happening in Memphis, Tennessee right now. And Elon Musk's AI company built a massive data center in Boxton. I think that's the city. And it's a predominantly Black Memphis neighborhood. On top of the fact that he feels like he has the right. Listen, you have the right to have your company, but how you run it, no, it's not your right. But I think that was also part of him being brought into this administration. Having operated without proper permits and without pollution controls, that normally you get fined, you get cited, you get dealt with, but not under this administration. The turbines, they're emitting nitrous oxide and formaldehyde.
Yep.
No permits. None. Not a one. Into a community that's already dealing with high asthma rates. Like, hello.
It's a very, what is that? It's better to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, again, that's the box that they painted us in. Elon Musk was not an elected official. Elon Musk should have never been where he was. But what we did was we allowed Megatron to be built. And then Megatron went out and did what Megatron does. And now all the little people are like, hey, and guess what? You can sue him. You can go to court. Elon Musk got enough money and his company's got enough money to fight you. If the COPD don't kill you, he'll drain you. Either way, you going out by his hands. But this is the monster that they've built. It's Titanic. I think it is destructible, right? But I feel like there would have to be unity inside of communities first in order for the Titanic to sink.
It's just sad because the EPA is usually who would crack down on something like this, and the EPA is under the leadership of the same idiots that allowed it to happen.
Just like the weather, the tornadoes. What was that? Kentucky? Don't quote me on Kentucky. But just last week, there was like 5 tornadoes that touched down, but it was not in any of the weather service due to all of the things that Trump has cut. So people, like, lives were actually lost because there was no forewarning of these tornadoes.
I don't understand how people aren't a lot more outraged about this kind of stuff.
I do.
Explain it.
We live in they've created a little fires everywhere society, right? Mm-hmm. Think about it. Right now, we supposed to be boycotting Amazon, Target, Walmart, Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, right? These are just boycotts. On top of the fact that gas is now almost $4 higher than it was on February 28th, okay? And you need that gas to go to your job that is already not paying you enough, because when was the last time a cost of wage living increase happened? While that is happening, guess what? Your kid can't read. And you don't have the time or the resources to pour into that, right?
Yeah.
So by the time you get to, right, if you're even somebody partnered, right? Like if this is even a 2-family household, by the time you get to, it costs more to simply go to work than it did 2 months ago, to a job that already wasn't fulfilling all of my financial obligations, to the kids that's always hungry, to the uniforms, to the school, to the fuck AI, fuck bees, dang cook. Fuck it. With a big one too, honestly. I don't have time. My gas bill is $320 more a month than it was since February. $320.
I almost stood at the pump and just started crying the other day.
I'm gonna walk.
I didn't want to
Don't
get
invite me if it's not walking distance.
I'm gonna sit here. Because I don't even want to burn an ounce of gas because this is crazy.
They done blocked the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of gas or oil, is coming from there. It will be in May when we begin to feel the effects on the consumer side in terms of products, toilet tissues, plastics. You know how much of everything we use on a day-to-day basis is made out of fucking plastic?
You
And
know
80% of it is over there.
You know what cracks me up when people try to act like this is some diabolical plan. Like, what if he was doing this to this? I feel like if you don't shut the fuck up, like what?
iPhones is $3 million and they make them stop working every time a new one comes out. Like, are you shitting me? How are we supposed to keep up? How are we supposed to keep up? And then with a straight face, there are states that will say, yeah, the minimum wage is $7.25. I'm gonna tell you this. Matter of fact, the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. But my husband just sent me something. An economist did, because we were having this conversation, that an economist did the math that even in Virginia, again, Abigail Spanberger just signed that the minimum wage, the federal minimum wage, will increase from $7.25 an hour to $15. And even at $15 an hour, according to economists, you were still $15 more short to afford a 1-bedroom home in most metropolitan areas in the United States. But I'll take it a step further. He gave me a list from an economist, where did he send it? Yesterday, that showed what you should be paying in rent based on your income. And then we can laugh about how different it is from what we know rent actually costs. Okay, so if you make $40,000 a year, your average rent should be $583.
That's what it should be.
If you make $70,000 a year, 70,000, again, just to put it in perspective, 70,000 is the annual average salary of people living in Plainfield, New Jersey, which is represented by District 12. This is the district that Bonnie Watson Coleman just retired or announced her retirement from. You have 13 candidates in this race, and they're all talking about bringing affordable housing specifically to the city of Plainfield, where the median income is $70,000 a year. Okay? You know what the average rent should be for that income? Or mortgage, $1,021. In Plainfield, New Jersey, the average rent is $3,000. And the average home is going to cost you somewhere between $500,000 and $700,000 a year. So when you ask how people don't care about data centers, they got 13 fucking candidates in a race that they got to figure out. And everybody's telling you affordable housing. And one of them candidates got on the mic and said, okay, but we have to define affordable because affordable is defined as, who gives a fuck how them other people define it? You, person who is running, tell me how you are going to change that and get it closer to a scale that is livable. I know what it is. How you going to change it?
But not just housing. We know what this stuff is doing to the environment. So when I say, how do you not consider it? I need y'all to also be proposing some health benefits and financial support for this goddamn healthcare, because I'm about to be sick and so are my kids. Like, what are we talking about?
What are we talking about? But I was watching this. They did an expose on one of the cities where I told you they were dying at an extreme rate from COPD. Young kids, people who had never smoked, they were dying. And the one lady was like, I can't afford to go anyplace else. I know what is here is killing me. I can't afford to move. But in the same breath, most candidates want to get on the mic when they're running and say housing is a national right. Everybody has a right to housing. It's a basic human right. Define human at this point.
At this point, because y'all act like some of us aren't human. Camille said in the Bible Belt, they're waiting on the rapture. That's her only guess. And they have a drought right now in the South. So what are we doing?
Hi, Camille. Camilla is my co-host. You guys can watch us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook Live for She's Got News.
I love that. Yes, that is right.
Yeah.
Make sure you watch, guys. Make sure you watch. All right. Well, as crazy as that all might be, as insane as that all might be, I think there's more. There's more. And this weekend, Miss Emma, yes, she was talking about some things. I think that started on the 15th was her interview with the Today Show, was it? And when I heard 3-hour mom, I didn't really know how to take it. I was like, is she crazy or what? Because I don't know. I feel like I missed something, but hold on, because I want to make sure that the people know what I'm talking about.
This with the headline, they called you the Kardashian whisperer who says 3 hours with her kids is enough. Were you caught off guard by the response? I know you and I know, the full picture, but were you caught off guard when people were like, wait, what?
Well, I just think that headline would never be written about a man. But no, was I caught off guard? Absolutely not. Because I think that what happens to women is that we're held to such an impossible standard, both as parents, but also as businesswomen. And what I'm trying to do is be really honest about what it takes and be really honest about the things that I don't do. Because everybody says, how do you do it all, Emma? Or how do you wake up at 5 and run the companies? And I'm like, let's give a list of all the things I don't do. Because you know what's helpful? That's what's helpful to women.
So helpful. And this 3-hour approach, like if that was with a man, though, like you said, nobody would talk about it.
The honest truth is, and what I was trying to convey is that when you go to work every day, Monday through Friday, you are spent by the time it gets to the weekend.
Yes.
And anyone who has children, you know that you don't spend 8 hours on a Saturday and a Sunday. You have errands to run. You have things to do.
But also kids need to be alone.
Well, and also that's part of being a parent, right? We're teaching our kids how to be independent and, God forbid, how to actually entertain themselves. So I'm the friend of the iPad. I'm the friend of a little movie every now and again. I'm just being really, really upfront about it.
And vulnerable and real. And let's get to some of the advice. Women will say, well, I don't know where to start.
Okay, so I don't even know where to begin there, especially since I am a commissioner for alcohol and other drugs, and we talk about things like accessibility and parents being aware of what's going on with their kids. Because if you're only going to give them 3 hours, they have 20 plus hours to get into shit. So help me understand how people are applauding this.
Well, I don't know if I can help you do that because I kind of agree a little bit, but hear me out. I think the headline is terrible. I think I understand what she's trying to convey.
But she doubled down on it, just to be clear, though. She did double down on it. She actually tripled down on it.
She did triple down on it. Okay. So, a little bit about me. I'm not a Barbie doll girl, right? Like I'm not a sit down and play Barbies type of gal. My daughter is. And when I was younger, I used to feel really, really bad because I did not enjoy doing that with her. I enjoyed spending time with her, but not in that fashion, right? And so it was fun for her, but it was torturous for me. I remember during COVID and I saw this video and this lady was talking about, mom was talking about how she sets a timer to do things with her kid that really crosses her boundaries, like whatever that is. For her, she was like, I'm just not like a loud person and my kid is loud. So we can be loud for X amount of time, but then we need to bring the volume back down. And that made me feel very seen because as women, we don't really hear a lot of other women, specifically successful women, talk about the portions of parenthood that are hard for them, that they don't find joy in, right? We get the, I love being pregnant. Pregnancy was so beautiful. And being a mom is the most rewarding thing ever. And it leaves the people who overall feel that way, but are like struggling in this moment or don't know how to navigate not wanting to play dolls with their kids. It leaves them feeling like they're doing something wrong. So what I took from her 3-hour thing was prioritizing time to still be you and the woman that you are, even in being a mom, even in being an employee, even in being a boss. I'm somebody who believes in boundaries. I'll do anything for the kids. The kids is always welcome. Get in the car. Let's go. You ain't got to ask. If my car is leaving and you want to come with me, jump in. I don't have a problem. But when it is adult time, when it is adult space, I also believe in that, right? Because we have to teach these babies how to navigate. Every single space isn't for them, because every single space isn't for you as an adult. And you need to know how to maneuver that. Then also, she said kids need alone time. I believe that an idle mind is the devil's playground, but I also believe that you need to know how to find happiness in being by yourself. And I would like for you to do that. And I would like to facilitate a space where you can do that before you're 18. Before you leave my house. When you leave my house, I don't want my kid to feel like, finally, I get to be alone. Finally, I get to set some own rules about my space. Finally, now I can be who I want to be, right? I want you to feel like you could do that here. And in my opinion, in order to do that, there needs to be a healthy mix of me being a helicopter mom, along with me giving you your space. I would say that on the flip, for me, there are probably 3 hours out of the weekend that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where she is. I don't know. Like, I mean, I know she's safe. Like, I know where she is, right? But she'll be like at her aunt's house. I know she's safe over there. I'm not calling every 5 minutes, or she's in her room. Okay, cool. Sometimes I'll come be in earshot. Oh, what are y'all talking about? I'll come hang out with the gang. And then you enjoy your Roblox. So what she said, how she said it, I can't get with that. But what I took from it was that, and I do believe in that. I believe in separation. Them kids is annoying sometimes. Fuck them.
I agree with that. However, Emma said loud what a lot of wealthy mothers actually do. And thank you, Camille, for joining this conversation with, yes, she has a nanny, a house manager, an executive assistant, and tutors. Yeah. There is this other thing. There are people that do have the money for a nanny, a house manager, executive assistant, and tutors, like a Rihanna, who still wants to be an active participant in raising her child. On top of the fact that we have too many, you know what? My husband and I have a lot of friends now who are single fathers. So I think, on another note, that shit sends me. What mother just up and decide, you know what? I'm about to be up in these streets and I got time for this and I'm out. Those types of things impact the child growing up. I am trying, me personally, I'm trying to raise a daughter without resentment issues. Okay.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of women that have issues with their mothers. So as much as this sounds like an empowering statement, I took it for what she actually said, because she stood 10 toes down on it, in that I got shit to do. I done hired all these other people to raise my kids. And I think that is gross. I think it is disgusting. And I think she should be ashamed, and everybody that's clapping for that are clapping for kids to grow up with resentment issues. There's too many young people growing up, girls with daddy issues that actually lived in the house with them, boys that got drama with their daddies because they felt like they didn't get enough and dad was working hard and he got all this money, but he ain't got no relationship with his kids. Those are the types of things that I see. You know, for those that don't know, I'm a sports mom. I see kids all the time having all kind of issues with their parents. Most of the time it's because the parents put so much energy into their careers and into their interests, where they try to live vicariously through their kid instead of getting to know their kid and building a nurturing, supportive relationship. So when I hear her say that, all I hear are red sirens blaring about
there's no flags.
Kids that are about to be out in the world, triggered and acting a fool because they didn't get their mother and the nurturing that they needed. They got it from a nanny or somebody else she paid to drive them around or do the things. One of the most important things, especially about being a sports mom, and many of us have come to understand, is those car rides back and forth with your child, being able to just talk and see what they're thinking and how they're feeling. None of that shit can happen in 3 hours. And I don't care, 3 hours a day. She talking about 3 hours on the weekend.
On the weekend, that was.
Fuck out of here.
I think I have a problem with the self-help, and I feel it's like slipping back into that self-help era, Because what Camille said, she does it with a nanny, with the house manager, with an executive assistant and tutors, right? And again, this might be excellent advice for her peers. But she's on the Today Show talking to Jessica, who got 3 kids and a man who works the night shift. Okay. This is not great advice for her. The second thing is, I don't strive to be compared to a man ever. The second, that's the crux of your argument. They would never say that about a man. Click, cut it off, cut it off, cut it off. I don't even want to get to what you have to say. Hold on.
We are not the same.
What the fuck? What the fuck? You're the mom. Who cares about what they would do when it was a dad? That's what I want to know. Why? You want to be one of them sorry ass motherfuckers? You're different. The bar is different. You're judged with the different measuring stick. And I hate that's the conversation that I've not heard on the internet. I hate that more than anything else talked about. Why don't you understand that your measuring stick is different, and not in a bad way, not in a good way? It's different. You got a yardstick. We measuring in yards over here. What them people do with them centimeters ain't got shit to do with you.
Nothing. I don't care how much money, how much time the kids spend with my husband, and he is an amazing father. I'm still the primary caregiver. I'm still the person they come to for the controlling, for all the things, the bandages, all the things. And my 20-something-year-old still to this day. So it's not the same. It's just not the same conversation. It's not the same, like you said, same measuring stick, the same measuring instrument. It's just not the same.
But I do fully believe, jokes aside, I do fully believe in taking time to, again, still be Tonya, still be Camille, still be Elle. All of those things are important. Showing up and being an amazing mom is important, right? But that cup has to be full. So there has to be time, and that has to be a priority to fill your metaphorical cup. And for everybody, it's different, right? Like maybe you get 15 minutes in the car before you pull in and the kids know not to bother you. Maybe somebody gets a spa weekend, it's different for everybody, but you cannot, the kids are my life. No.
100%. I holistically believe in that. And you got to include a little wine time with your girlfriends. You got to do the things.
That's important. That's important.
Camille, I think you should spend at least 3 hours of quality time. That's at least, not
at
max.
Least.
Oh, girl was like max. Like, what is wrong with you?
Now, if she would have said every 6 months, maybe we just have to revamp it. Like every 6 months, this is mommy is off the clock. Every 6 months, I get a weekend where I'm not your mama. You got to talk to your daddy. You got to talk to grandma. Something, which is why I said I feel like I understand the little bits of pieces.
I understand the sentiment for the women she was talking to, not for us. Camille said normies. We can't follow that dumb advice.
We normies. But that's the thing with the self-help book, and that's why I hate the self-help era. We listening to millionaires you should just wake up at 6 a.m. and watch the sunrise.
One more thing, Camille, they act like children are a chore to be done.
Mm-hmm,
I love my time with my kids. And to her point, kids know when you feel resentment towards them because of time and affection that you have to pour into them. They know that. So I was there. If you're acting like you want to hurry up and be in a hurry to get away from there, they feel that. They understand that. And it pains me to hear people talk like they don't believe kids interpret their actions and their emotions, and they internalize that shit. And then we get more kids out in the street wounded, becoming adults that are wounded, and then taking it out on the woman that they wish was their mama, or that woman that they wanted the love from, like they wish they could have got it from their mom. Like the damage that you do starts early. Just to be clear, a lot of these wounded men out here started with their mamas.
They wounded babies. I'll say my daughter is so sensitive. She'll call my name and I'll go, yes. And she'll be like, are you annoyed? Why are you talking to me like that?
Girl, same. They'd be like, why are you?
I don't like that tone. Like, that's the face. She does that. She's like, are you okay? Do you want me to, that's what she'll be like, you want me to leave you
My
alone?
kids are tone policing me. I hate it. But they are me. So, and they get it from.
They mamas.
So when Emma's kids start acting like they nanny, holla back. Okay.
Okay.
But before we get off this, I do want to say that Black women online push back hard, and I love that. So we're right, and she's not. And
Camille, Tonya is going to do, she's going to do our panel with us. We are working on a DV awareness panel for She's Got
That's
News.
going to be amazing. And we need to have more open and honest conversations that bring solutions, because we can't just keep floating around out here with all these problems and all these damaged individuals not knowing how to get help. Get help.
Get help.
So listen, before we get out of here, what else is going on with you, Miss Elle? Let the people know.
Can I let them know? But I do have a quick question for you, if that's okay.
Lord.
The interviewee becomes the interviewer. Can you explain the Roland Martin Fairfax D9? I had to delete the post. So let me tell you what I understand. I understand, and this is, I've done no research on this, but I understand that Roland Martin is a member of a D9 fraternity. I'm not sure which one.
Alpha Phi Alpha.
Okay. And Fairfax was an Alpha as well?
Yes, he was.
Okay. So he posted an in memoriam of his frat brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that I understand. And then from there, for some reason, the fraternity asked him to remove it. And he said that he did it not because of the comments, but simply because National asked him to remove it. But what was it? That's the part that I'm missing.
He talked about their relationship and the man that he knew, which is often the case with a lot of domestic violence, femicide, homicide, murder-suicide cases. You know one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Someone knows the person that pulled the trigger. He was a damaged man. Roland expressed how he felt about losing his fraternity brother and someone he has gotten to know over the course of time.
Okay.
The problem is there are a lot of people, not just him, that expressed kind words towards him. Very few people that expressed kind words and sorrow and grief towards her.
Okay.
This is along the lines of how we actually opened up this conversation. When I tell you that after my mother was shot and her boyfriend was unalived, people bent over backwards making excuses for the murderer.
What you have to understand is
it was just a thing. He was such a good, he's a good dad though. And he's a good uncle though. Girl, they had me as a child going with them to the prison to visit him because he's lonely in jail. When I tell you, I have seen firsthand the excuses that people will make for victimizers. It is insane. I'm not saying Roland made excuses.
That almost broke me. They made you go visit that man?
Yes. I went and visited that man with the rest of my family that would show up to support. And this is a whole separate conversation, but they also went as far as to get my mother to lie and say it was self-defense so that he could get a lighter sentence or get off. And she lied. The police knew. She still wound up going to jail herself because she got perjury charges placed on her. All of that because of a man that they were fond of. So when the internet went crazy about Roland showing support and sorrow for his fraternity brother, it made sense for the fraternity to come out and say, please take that down. Please. Thank you. Okay. Do your sorrow thing. Leave us out of it. Okay, bye. That's all. Don't do that. Don't do that. Maybe you didn't know her personally. She's not in your organization. However, she is a mother that lost her life to an abuser who has a track record of abuse of other women.
Who she
Don't
was
do that.
trying to actively get away from.
Don't do that.
So
Listen,
you
this
can
is
find me somewhere confused by the actions of a lot of people. That's heavy. That's heavy. I want to say that you can find me at BriefedByElle on whatever social media platform you like to use. My most active are Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. That's where you can find me. But I do have a YouTube page. Tonya is already yelling at me. I've got the content. It's posting. Okay. You know, I'm only one person, two hands. I homeschool. I'm a fire wife. Raw. Right. Second thing I would like to say is there are mental health services out there. No matter your job, no matter your profession, please use them. You're not less than, you're not weak, you're not anything other than a smart person for identifying the fact that you need help and then going to receive it. Lastly, to all them other people who just like to hang their hats on their daddy issues, your daddy being a bad man when you was 10 got nothing to do with how you show up at 40. Get fucking help. Okay? Get help. I'm like this because my daddy. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You too are part of the problem. And then if you decide you still like me after that, you can catch me on Wednesdays over here on Facebook and YouTube with my girl Camille Crowler. And we will be chatting. She's got news. We chat all internet chaos from pop culture to politics. We give you the news from our perspective. So be nice to people.
Be nice to people. That's a wrap on this fine Monday. Thank you for being here at the Judgment Zone. Listen, we don't come here to be comfortable. First of all, we come here to think, to question, and to control the narrative about a lot of these conversations that are being had. And folks are really not giving it as much forethought, critical thinking, and digestion as it demands. Okay. If you want more of Elle, her pop culture is amazing and her political takes are hot like fire. But I want you to connect with her on Instagram. I mean, the jokes, like I have to not watch her during the week because I won't get nothing done. Okay. She brings it all the time. But the cool thing is it's chat. It's an opportunity to check in with yourself, how you're digesting things, how you are, communicating, what you're thinking about things. It's a good place to just chop it up, hear what other people are thinking and chat.
I'm not here to, my favorite line is, this is an India RE channel. Don't be offended. This is all my opinion. Ain't nothing that I'm saying law. But I am here to share my perspective and to create conversation. This is not by any means an invitation to think the same way as me. I think it is better when you have a difference of opinion. You keep it respectful and I will keep you unblocked.
It's funny. Listen, find me at Tonya McKenzie PR on Instagram, Control the Narrative newsletter on Substack. All the links are in the bio. This is your girl T, your chief controller. Stay sharp. See you next time. Bye.